It's great to see you again.
I'm so happy.
My name's Anthony. I'm here, as always, with my friend.
Tim, I thought you were talking.
This is what we worked on.
I thought you were talking to me when you said it was great to see me again.
This is what we rehearsed.
You were talking to people.
Practice this.
You were talking to people you can't even see, and you ignore the person in the room right next to you. This is what we've gone through therapy about.
People come to this podcast because they love how in sync we are. How we just do it, and when we open
together,
we open like this. They don't know how to feel because it feels like something is out of orbit.
Out of orbit. But we said the same thing though.
Welcome to the Bible is Funny podcast. Tim, say hi to the people.
Hi, people. Hi, Anthony too.
Hi,
You're
Tim.
here in the room.
We're here.
Maybe nobody's even listening.
Bathsheba is here, as she always is.
Hey, girl.
I don't like that.
Welcome back. For the podcast listeners, not the video watchers, I winked at a sheep.
Oh, that's a good word. Yeah, people doing the audio. That's good.
That's
good.
Tell
Don't
my
lose
wife that there was a little Jezebel in our room podcasting with us.
Right. But which audience are you talking to at this point? Is that for the audio?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want the audio people to go, oh my gosh, I heard Tim gave a little clicky wink.
But now you've expounded on it so everyone has the information.
Yeah, everybody's got it now.
It's so likely it gets back to your wife now.
Well, yeah, but it's fine but they need to know that it was a sheep, not like some other woman in the podcast studio.
Oh.
Because if they didn't see me winking at a sheep, they would
makes sense.
Oh my gosh,
well,
Tim,
because the audio people too don't see how
flirt.
sharp you look right now. Like dressed to kill, literally.
Yeah. Maybe.
I mean,
you play your cards right.
If you're an audio listener, if for no other reason, you should check out the video because of Tim's fits.
If you were dressed to kill, what would you wear? I think it's like
we were just discussing something like this because somehow the red dress. I was discussing when did we
that would make sense
deem a red dress as like,
well, if you got blood all over it.
Well, yeah,
you wouldn't know.
That checks.
You just walk out of the crime scene like nothing happened.
But we were even saying like that's the most like, and for guys, like probably like a tuxedo for guys.
Yeah, and see, that's what I wouldn't wear to
that's
kill
what James
someone.
is doing.
I wouldn't.
James Bond.
Yeah. Again, I wouldn't wear a nice suit.
But I think what you get out of that is...
If nothing else, if you're just like, choking someone out.
You're thinking
you
function,
need something
though.
that stretches a little bit.
You're thinking function, and I think the question is, will they expect a man in a tuxedo? Because they're going to think the same thing you are. They're going to be like, you can't kill someone in that outfit? You kidding me? It's so inconvenient. It's so tight and restrictive.
It's true. I guess I didn't think about the element of surprise.
That's what James Bond is always thinking about.
All right, well, now that we got that out of the way.
Welcome to the podcast, everybody. Today, we are going through the Bible together. This is our segment we like to call Cheat Day Devos. Right, Tim?
Yep.
Cheat Day Devos is where we...
Didn't know I had to fact check.
Cover parts of the Bible.
That's what we call it.
Today we are working our way through Genesis. We're continuing through Genesis, getting towards the end.
I was going to say, this is the longest chapter of any Bible I've ever read. See, it's so long.
Like the book of Genesis, you're saying?
Yeah, it just seems like it's long.
Yeah. No, it is. I mean, it's a longer book.
Yeah.
So we're working our way through that. If you can get caught up, we started at the beginning. We are now today going to be doing Genesis 43 and 44. We like to call this Cheat Day Devos because we want to be very upfront. Tim and I are not classically trained.
Yeah.
We are not academically taught.
Gifted? Okay.
Or gifted. We are not,
good
people. Right.
Yeah.
Now we're back on track.
Yeah.
So that's what this is coming from, is our place of we read the Bible together, we chat and we giggle about it with you. We just like to set that table, right? Because if you're writing your thesis,
this is a table where everyone's welcome.
Everyone's welcome at this table,
regardless of.
But it's not like fine dining. If you know what I'm saying? It's very accessible foods.
Yeah. You can wear whatever it is you are dressed in when you're dressed to kill. Whether if it's
Whatever
sweatpants.
you dress to kill in.
Whatever you dress to kill in.
Right.
Bring that to the table.
That's what you can come to this table with. So if you're looking for like very in-depth Hebrew word analysis, that's not our podcast. There are those podcasts, and they're out there. So if you need to bail, you can leave quietly. We won't like make a scene. So we're doing cheat day devos. Before we get into that, though, we've been talking about the story of Joseph. Joseph involves a lot of dreams in his story. Joseph has dreams. People around him are having dreams. And I didn't even really know this. It's crazy after how long we've known each other. But Tim, like, it just was clear to me, the viewers and everybody, that you love dreams. And you love hearing about dreams. And you love talking about dreams. And you love dreams. And so you said on the podcast, you asked the viewers to tell us their dreams.
I don't remember. I don't think I did that.
You did. We have it on video. So what happened was I asked you, and you gave us the dreams. I'm going to give you, Tim, some of these dreams. And I need you to give the people an interpretation of this dream.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll give you the dream.
Yeah, that was good. Don't we have a podcast segment where you torture me already? We do that somewhere else.
We have a shtick, and we're on it. Okay, I'm going to start with one. This is all I picked. We got a lot of dreams sent in. I picked some I thought the subject matter would be close to your heart. This person had a dream last night that a giant gummy bear in space was eclipsing the sun. Tim, your thoughts?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's global warming, obviously. And it's so look out for that. Yeah. It's also Halloween's coming up. You could just have candy on the mind. That's not a real dream.
Do you happen to know like a gummy bear theme song to the show?
Don't start. Of course I know the theme song to freaking Gummy Bears. Dashing and daring, courageous and caring, faithful and friendly with stories to share. I can keep going.
Okay. I didn't know. I was gonna take your cues. Because we are.
All through the forest, they sing out in chorus, marching along as their song fills the air.
Okay.
Gummy bears, from here and there and everywhere.
Okay.
Hey, adventures that beyond compare. They are the gummy bears.
Okay.
They are the gummy bears.
The next dream. Listener, viewer.
Oh, we're going to keep going.
Tom and Jerry, my brother neighbors. These two brothers live next door. Their names are Tom and Jerry. My brother neighbors, not the cat and the mouse.
Okay, thank you.
Stole my bike. That's the dream that was had.
Oh yeah.
What's the interpretation?
It's a deep-seated desire in you to steal their joy. That's what I interpret that as. You want to steal something from them.
Oh, okay.
So you're fearing that they're going to steal your joy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or that's like just a premonition, and they are going to steal your bike.
I would lock up your bike just for safety.
Yeah.
Because what if you got this as a warning? Then they steal your bike. You're gonna feel pretty silly.
And I told you.
Okay, this is from a good friend of ours. I stole my friend. This is about stealing again. A lot of dreams about stealing. It says a lot about our audience.
Right. These a lot of murder and stealing today.
I stole my friend Patricia's car to run from the authorities. I had to drop off 2 elderly women off at their house before fleeing the country to Canada.
Oh my gosh.
So recap: stole my friend Patricia's car to run from the authorities, but you have to drop off 2 elderly women at their house before fleeing the country to Canada.
That's a lesson to be learned to do your chores before you get off to do something fun.
Good point.
You got to drop off grandma.
There you go.
At the home before you can flee the Handmaid's Tale country that you live in.
Okay, last one. This is the last one, and this is really, I love this one because we get to offer someone help from something that's been bothering them for a long time. This dream, 11 years ago, they had this dream. They still remember it, and they still have no clue what it means, and they've come to you, Tim, for an interpretation.
Guess that I wouldn't have cared about it 11 years ago.
Here it is. Oh no, I just completely messed up my phone.
Oh no.
And now I got it. I was working at a sushi stand making amazing sushi. Not so odd. In fact, it sounds pretty normal. However, the sushi stand was built on the side of a giant whale, and I was serving sushi to seals out in the middle of the ocean. Then the dream changed to me feeding manatees spaghetti.
That's not real.
This is a dream that, this is definitely real. This is a dream that our follower had when she was pregnant with her third child.
Oh.
I don't know if that adds to, I don't know how your process works.
For sure,
But we're talking sushi served from the side of a whale, 2 seals, and then it changed to feeding manatees spaghetti.
Yeah. Yeah. First of all, pregnant dreams. I've never been pregnant, but from what I understand, they're a little trippy. If it's anything like pregnant snoring, they can be aggressive with your dreaming. I think what it means is your kid's going to be in aquatics. You have a little.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna have a little chubby little guy that swims in the water, manatees, whales, whatnot.
Okay.
But very into the water.
Little marine biologist, maybe.
No, this is an athlete.
Oh, in an athletic.
This is a little chubby little athlete.
What is the note in the dream that makes you think it's not scientific, that it's athletic? Where are you getting that from?
Manatees are very agile for their size and shape.
Their side. I love manatees. Sidebar.
They're cool and scary as a lot.
When you run into them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. They're bigger than you think.
Yeah.
I was
on a paddleboard.
Yeah.
And it came up out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Scared the bejesus out of me.
Lovely. All right, last one.
Oh, there's more.
Because I know you have been involved in a real estate deal before in your life. This person had a dream where they made a real estate deal with 2 leopards to try and flip a house.
Oh, never get involved with leopards.
That's your interpretation?
Yeah. I mean, everybody knows that. I mean, it's better than a cheetah.
Hey-oh!
So you want to get a...
Because
you want to get involved with a cheetah.
Cheetah.
Yeah. I don't know. The leopards are gonna kill you and your family. That's what's happening in your dream. Sorry to bear the.
This is like a Joseph kind of
news.
Interpretation right there.
Yeah. Do you think Joseph was getting like a ton of?
Yes, I think he got him rapid fire.
I'm gonna phone it in. I don't.
He got him rapid fire. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, leopards.
The leopards
eat your family. Yeah.
are gonna eat. Like, so this is actual leopards, or the leopards are like
the actual leopards are gonna gonna eat your entire family.
Whoa!
Everybody it won't be that bad because it's gonna be everyone you've ever known and loved. So like everybody will be consumed by leopards.
Unreal. You heard it here first. Take care of yourself.
You can't. There's no getting around it. This is an interpretation of a dream that will happen. There's nothing you can do to stop it. You shared it with me to interpret. Now you know. Now you can't unknow it. This is on you. This is your fault.
A real estate deal, and this is what it was.
Sorry,
what a burden you have to have this knowledge.
If you don't want to hear bad news, don't tell me your dream.
It's why you don't talk about Bruno. Exactly right here.
It's right.
Because of this. So hopefully that was helpful to everybody that sent stuff in, and to the leopard viewer, I'm sorry about that news. But
I'm not.
Just
you asked for it.
Just the messenger. Oh, that's good. Yeah, so there's some interpretations. We didn't say they were like the interpretation. We didn't say that was, we're in no way accountable to that actually happening or not happening. It's just an interpretation. It's kind of like what we practice here as far as dreams go. Mm-hmm. Genesis 43.
Oh, we're doing the podcast now.
Open up your Bibles. Genesis 43. Here we go. Picking up the story of Joseph, we continue. Now the famine was still severe in the land. So when they had eaten all the grain they had brought from Egypt, their father said to them, "Go back and buy us a little more food." This is funny because I think he might have forgot
that it wasn't a trip to the grocery store.
That it wasn't just there was actually a whole scene that happened. And they were sent away, and they were in a panic when they got home, and
right. And Dad's like, "Hey, go ask for seconds, will ya?"
Yeah.
Well, you gotta give me a little bowl for my pistachio shells.
It strikes me as when you get out of college and you're like, you have a degree and you're looking for a job, and it's like, well, have you called Google? Did you call? Like, no, but there's more to it.
Yeah, it's not quite that easy.
If I call, Dad, it's not gonna be fruitful.
I can't just go, okay. Yeah, you know what I didn't think about? That we might eat all the food.
I'll call.
I didn't think that we might eat all the food, so I didn't get enough. That's why. Thanks, Dad. Okay, I'll go get some more food.
That's the energy. Go back and buy us a little more food. That's what he says too in verse 2. Just a little more food. We don't want to like overstock the fridge. But Judah is the one that's that. So this is another fun family moment when you all look at each other and you're like, well, someone's got to tell our parents about what the reality of the situation is. So Judah says to him, the man warned us solemnly. This is all stuff we covered from the last chapter. You'll not see my face again unless your brother is with you. If you will send your brother along with us, we'll go down and buy food for you. But if you won't send him, we're not going to go down, because the man said to us, you're not going to see my face again unless your brother is with you. Here's what's interesting to me that the listeners of the pod, the Cheat Day Devo fans will remember, is that nowhere in this segment, there's a lot of, there's not a real sense of urgency here. And the sense of urgency is coming from the lack of food. They're like, it's what it says in 2. They ate all the food, so now they need more food. What the Cheat Day Devo fans will remember, they have a brother actually locked up in Egypt.
Right.
Waiting for them to come back.
Just come anytime.
Simeon is still there, and no one's brought that up as like well, we do actually got to find a way back so we can get Simeon. No, we waited till we ran out of food, however long that was, and now we're like, I guess we should go back.
Oh, that's right, Simeon's there.
Do they even remember that Simeon's? Have they that quickly been like?
I think they weighed all the options, and they were like, well, leaving Simeon there, that's not the worst. That's fine. Let's just finish the food,
right?
And then we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I like that passage. I read that passage a little bit more sarcastically, like dramatically with a little sarcasm. And I think sometimes we have to talk to our parents like this nowadays.
Yeah.
Not my kids. They will never talk to me like that. But,
no.
But Judas says to his dad, the man warned us solemnly, you will not see my face again unless your brother is with you. If you send our brother along with us, we will go down and buy food for you. But if you don't send him, we will not go down, because the man said to us, you will not see my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like that.
It's totally
reading.
Yeah.
Dad, you will not see my face again unless your brother is with you.
And makes even more sense when it's teed up with, why don't you guys go get us some more food? We can't do that, Dad. So then verse 6, Israel asked, why'd you bring this trouble on me by telling the man you had another brother? This is great.
Good.
They replied, the man questioned us closely about ourselves and our family. Is your father still living? He asked us. Do you have another brother? We simply answered those questions that he asked us directly. That's what he said to us. And it's so funny, the author of this notes that conversation, not in a general sense, in just the previous chapter, Genesis 42. The back and forth, the dialogue is recorded and presented. So we actually can go back and see that that's not how that conversation went at all.
No.
And in fact, this is what Joseph said. He said, you're spies. And they said, no, we're not. So, no, Joseph says to them, you've come to see where our land is unprotected, in Genesis 42, verse 12. And then they spill the beans about how many brothers they have and who their father is and where they keep their valuables and all the information.
If at that point, if Joseph didn't really know they were spies, like if he wasn't sure, he would have realized right away. Like, these guys are either terrible spies that just divulge information very willingly, or they're not spies.
Well, depends if they were dressed to kill or not. But I love that. Maybe again, you're looking at family dynamics. Israel says, go buy us a little bit more food. Maybe he's kind of like losing it, and so maybe you're like playing on that a little bit. Like, no. He asked us specifically about brothers that were not present in the room, because that's a logical question you would ask somebody. You sent 10 of us to do kind of a 1 or 2 man job, and he was wondering if you didn't leave someone out of that. That's what he asked. What are you going to do? It does. It has the cadence and like the feel to me of like when you kind of want to frame it like, you know, I had to. They brought around the dessert cart. I had to get dessert. Like they brought the dessert cart to our table. Not get dessert at that point. I had to.
Right.
Like you didn't actually. You know, you didn't have to.
It reminds me of my kids when they go looking for something. Mm-hmm. They're like, "Hey, where's my water bottle?" Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know. And they go, they're like, well, can you, they ask me where it is and I say, I don't know. And then I say, well, have you tried to look for it? And like, yeah, I mean, I looked around this room. I didn't see it. I did this. That was the effort that it took to hide a water bottle from you. It was like, you just, if I knew you were going to turn your head like that.
That's it.
Yeah. So like, yeah, he asked this real hard question.
He asked it specifically. So then Judah says to Israel, his father, send the boy along with me, and we will go at once, so that we and you and our children may live and not die. I myself will guarantee his safety. You can hold me personally responsible for him. Was I there when the other kid you liked died or disappeared forever? Maybe.
But maybe this time.
What are the chances that happens twice, Dad?
Impossible.
What are the chances that happen? Okay, also Simeon's not here. What are the chances that happens 3 times? You send me away and I come back missing a kid. What are the odds? If I do not bring him back to you and set him here before you, I will bear the blame before you all my life. As it is, if we had not delayed, we could have gone and returned twice. So we could have been there and back twice, Dad.
Right. Your red tape and bureaucracy are slowing us down.
I can't come up with one good reason why you won't send your favorite kid with me out into the wilderness.
If that's true, though, that they could have gone back there twice, like, do they really not live that far?
I get the impression
more
from
like a
this
grocery store kind of thing
chapter that they're not terribly far, and maybe that's just sort of.
But then why would it take all 10 of them to go get the food to begin with?
You're just together. Everyone achieves more. Team. You know what I mean? So Father says to them, if it must be, then do this. Put some of the best products of the land in your bags and take them down to the man as a gift. A little balm and a little honey, some spices and myrrh, some pistachio nuts and almonds. This list made me laugh because it is like, again, not to keep relating these to all of our personal experiences, but it's like, it feels to me like my wife saying like, hey, can you go get stuff for chicken parmesan at the store? And I'm like, yeah. Okay, so you're gonna need chicken and pasta and sauce and cheese, and like there we go. I did need that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was a joke at first, like the very oddly specific, like get the pistachios too.
The pistachio nuts.
I didn't know they put pistachios in the Bible.
I was struck by that as well, and almonds. They were eating pretty good.
I bet
their granola or their yogurt granola combo was probably fire.
They probably great ghee,
honey as well. By the way,
yeah.
I mean, come on, that's something.
Yeah, I think, but I do think that it just says balm in there as a generic because chapstick is, of course, a brand, and
yeah, right.
But say balm. Could have been Burt's Bees. I don't know.
Well, they had honey, so they were halfway there.
Pistachio flavored.
Wow,
that'd be good.
They were so refreshed. Mm-hmm. Their lips were so moisturized. Take double the amount of silver with you, for you must return the silver that was put back into the mouths of your sacks. Perhaps it was a mistake. Take your brother also and go back to the man at once. And may God Almighty grant you mercy before the man, so that he will let you, your other brother, and Benjamin come back with you. That didn't even remember his name.
Yeah, whatever.
There's the one, it's not Reuben.
I mean, dude's getting old. You can't hold that against
I got 2 kids. I don't get their names right all the time.
No.
If you got 12, but man, for that to be recorded, he'll let you and your other. There's another brother.
The dark with the hair.
This chapter is so hard on Simeon. This chapter is brutal.
Who?
So he will let you, your other brother, and Benjamin come back with you. As for me, if I'm bereaved, I am bereaved.
And I that's Bible talk for it is what it is.
It is what it is.
If I'm bereaved, I'm bereaved.
If I'm bereaved, I'm bereaved. He felt so passionate about this one chapter ago. He was like, I'll never send your brother. You'll bring my gray head down to the grave before I said, yeah, okay. You guys can go. So the men took the gifts and double the amount of silver, and Benjamin also. They hurried down to Egypt. They go back. Joseph sees Benjamin with them. He says to the steward of the house, take these men to my house, slaughter an animal, prepare a meal. They are to eat with me at noon. So it's a lunch. It's the midday meal. So they went up to... I skipped it. The man did as Joseph told him and took the man to Joseph's house. Now the men were frightened when they were taken to his house. They thought, we were brought here because of the silver that was put back into our sacks the first time. Mm-hmm. He wants to attack us and overpower us and seize us as slaves and take our donkeys. They got big anxiety.
Yeah. It's a big deal.
They're very concerned about being brought to his house.
The donkeys are important.
I love the donkeys being... There's a concern.
Yeah. Well, and I looked up the etymology, and it turns out this is actually where we get the phrase, my ass is on the line. It's true. You look it up. It's a donkey. I can say it because it's in the Bible.
It is probably the KJV version of that. Yeah, I just love that they're thought like there's moments like this that are so funny, right? They're so ripe with comedy because you have these brothers that are like, by all accounts here, and sometimes you get this stories all mixed up because you're reading the Bible and you think of the Israelites, and you can get to like King David and King Solomon, and they're kind of like a kingdom and they've got stuff going for them. But at this point, they're just a family of shepherds, so like they don't have a ton to offer the Pharaoh of Egypt. Like, he's not, like, got them circled. As
right,
to,
I mean,
like,
they already sold their youngest brother.
They're selling brothers
One of them.
down the river.
Yeah.
So I love the like, this is the very real anxiety we have here preserved forever of, like, obviously you're nervous, that's fine. This was, like, a pretty not great experience the first time. He wants to attack us and overpower us. He's going to seize us as slaves. He's going to take our donkeys. He's going to take our donkeys. I've been telling you. I trained that donkey, and I knew when we came here the first time, he saw that donkey, and he saw how obedient it was, and I knew he had eyes for that donkey.
I mean, if you build an emotional connection with a donkey, you don't want to give it up to some slave owner down the road.
Also, not to dogpile on him, but you're like, you literally sold your brother out.
Donkey pile.
You sold your brother, said he could just go away forever. But with the idea
but don't take my
that someone might try to take your donkey, you're very stressed. Not great.
Maybe Joseph was kind of a jerk.
I mean, he had his quirks. So they went up to Joseph's steward, spoke to him at the entrance of the house. We beg your pardon, our lord, they said. We came down here the first time to buy food, but at the place where we stopped for the night, we opened our sacks, and each of us found his silver, the exact weight, in the mouth of his sack. So we brought it back with us. We also brought additional silver with us to buy food. We don't know who put our silver in our sacks.
I have to imagine the steward would be chuckling like I would be.
Yeah.
You gotta stop saying the word sack over and over. It's good. It's gonna... Like the steward knows that in the future there's gonna be a lot of middle school boys reading this in church, and they're just gonna be chuckling.
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
Or 40-year-old men.
Either or, depending on the situation.
Right.
This to me was like, this is exactly how I deal with like people in stores and stuff. Is like, I'm so like if I ever like return a plate, it's like the wrong meal they gave me. I'm so sorry to bother you. So I ordered the chicken, but sometimes when I say chicken, it sounds like salmon, and it's me. I did this. I messed up.
You are over apologetic.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I want to give this to you. I want to pay for both meals because you prepped this meal. This is great. This just sounds a lot like me
it does
in a setting.
And you can almost hear your backbone just fading away as you stand up to the clerk.
Yeah, really putting my foot in the ground. And I usually talk a bigger game before the interaction too. Yeah, for sure. It's great. I clearly said chicken. It's brought me salmon. It's all right, he said. This is verse 23. Don't be afraid. Your God, the God of your father, has given you treasure in your sacks. I received your silver. Then he brought Simeon out to them. Again, I'm putting my own kind of spin based on just the narrative we're given and what the vibe right here. They walked in, and this is like the first thing they're doing. They're nervous about stuff. They're talking about the silver. Nobody led with like, hey, we're back. We brought our brother. Can we have Simeon back? So it almost, like, to me, this reads like the people working in Joseph's house were like, oh, yeah, they're back. Go get Simeon. So I think Simeon walks in the room, and they go, oh!
You were yeah. Yeah. We hurried back here.
Fast as we could.
I mean, you know how far it is. And it's this famine.
Woo-wee.
I'm wiped.
Just
from running.
Didn't sleep. We knew.
And then we at one point we came back and turns out we forgot Benjamin. And so we had to
Benjamin.
Get him. And then we came and then the donkeys had forgot that. So I had to go back and
one more time
get the donkeys.
Yeah.
And then I forgot my keys.
Right.
The tent and but you're okay now. Whew. Simeon. That's your name. That's your name.
Simeon. We knew you were so scared and lonely in a place that's not your home, in a dungeon. So you were priority one, buddy. Oof. We were like Simeon strong.
In all the back and forth, we ate all the food. That's how it's gone now, because we were just nervous eating.
And if you ask here, they're going to say they didn't see us, but that's because we were so fast.
Lightning bolts. Can you see a lightning bolt? Yeah. Can you get a picture of its face? No.
You can't.
It's hard.
It's hard. But it's so good to see you.
Brother.
You look so good.
Brother.
They brought Simeon out to them. The steward took the men into Joseph's house, gave them water to wash their feet, and provided fodder for their donkeys. They prepared their gifts for Joseph's arrival at noon, because they had heard that they were to eat there. So Joseph comes home. They give him these gifts, the pistachio nuts, you'll recall from earlier. He asked them how they were, verse 27. That's kind. He's always checking in on people, Joseph. Why do you look so sad today? How are you guys? Then he says, how's your aged father you told me about? Is he still living? So that's an interesting question, I think, in social settings. How's your dad? Still alive?
I know. I do have to ask that of people nowadays, though.
Right. People should ask us.
And I know. I follow up with, mine's not. It's not.
It's not going to end well.
Doesn't end well. But I want to make it super awkward.
Right. Yeah. How's your aged father? You mentioned he's alive?
He's ticking.
Alive?
He's still working.
Okay, good. They replied, your servant, our father, is alive and well. They bowed down, prostrating themselves before him. As he looked about and saw his brother Benjamin, his own mother's son, he asked, is this your youngest brother, the one you told me about? And he said, God be gracious to you, my son. Deeply moved at the sight of his brother, Joseph hurried out, looked for a place to weep. He went into his private room and he wept there.
Why does he keep doing this to himself? He cries a lot.
He's like a real emotional Bible character. I like that about Joseph.
And if you're like that, then maybe don't get a job where you got to wear the Egyptian makeup.
You know that was a problem.
Mascara's going to run.
You know that was a problem. It's like you're looking down the row of, and they all are real tight, and then his is all Joseph. Yeah.
Everything okay?
It's just those cats we keep became friends with a bird. It doesn't make sense because they're not the same species. But the power of friendship.
And I miss my donkey.
Go ahead and take the rest of the day. What I also like about this, so he verse 31, he washed his face, he comes out controlling himself and says, serve the food. So the food in my head is serve the food. And in my head, the food is out. So they're just sitting there, the little chafing dish over it all, and they're all looking at each other when they hear, is this what happened? This is Egypt, huh? Okay. Yeah. They put this guy in charge of all of it. Interesting. Then he runs in. Okay, serve the food. They served him by himself, the brothers by themselves, and the Egyptians who ate with him by themselves, because Egyptians could not eat with Hebrews, for that is detestable to Egyptians.
I thought it was weird that they use the present tense there for that. So like kind of prescribing.
That is detestable.
Yeah, it is detestable.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still feel that way. Maybe, like, but it seems like it's sort of prescribing it for here into eternity.
This is one of those things too that's like obviously prejudice and things is real. It's real in the world.
Yeah. Go on about prejudice.
This is why we brought you here today.
This is what this podcast is
No,
about.
this just struck me. So again, the Hebrews are mostly shepherds at this point. And I forget where I was when I encountered this, but they kind of painted the picture of like the shepherd life, and there's not a lot of washing involved.
Yeah.
There's like
Sheep don't care.
Sheep don't care, and so you're kind of like there's like a lot of lice was dealt with like a lot, and like even in like their clothes and stuff. So I again one initial read when I first was introduced to this, and you're like, yeah, it was not nice that they were just being jerks. But then you're kind of like, but then there was also probably some like.
They smell.
Yeah, you guys got bugs on you and stuff, and like maybe just not around my food.
You can let the donkeys in.
You eat your own food, so maybe it was stemmed from that. I don't know. Could have been either way. So they have this very elaborate seating arrangement. Then they seat the men had been seated before him in the order of their ages, from the firstborn to the youngest. They looked at each other in astonishment. Sorry, it just hit me. I'm like. They seated them in order of their ages, and then Simeon's at like a different table. Can you believe he got our age order correct? I'm actually like the 5th oldest. Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Simeon.
Yeah. Why don't you come?
Dude, we raced back here to get you. Oh, you were released already. Oh, okay. So good to see you. They do the age order. And they looked at each other in astonishment. They couldn't believe he guessed their ages. And then portions were served to them from Joseph's table. Benjamin's portion was 5 times as much as anyone else's.
Yeah.
So they feasted and drank freely with him. Now, this is like 5 times.
That's a lot.
That's like almost oppressive.
Right. There's a point where it's no longer a blessing, but a curse.
Right.
Like, even if someone's being generous and is like, here, like open up the fridge, here, you can have a beer. Okay. And I'm like, okay, that's nice and generous of you.
Right.
But if they're like, here's 5 of them, drink them right now, I'm not going to feel so hot at that moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and you come to the question of like hands. I'm thinking he's sitting at a table. And they're like, here's a plate of food, and another 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 plate of food.
Okay, I can't.
And you're like, what do I...
We have a fork.
I have one eating utensil. What am I supposed to do with all this?
What do you think that eating utensil was? It was like a spear?
I don't know.
You said you are the one who said he had one.
Well, I'm saying, like, you can only... Well, I guess he could have had 2.
Yeah.
He could have...
Double fist that thing.
That would have helped with this egregious amount of food. But my brain wandered. Yeah, like you were saying, the beer in the fridge. You think about like a barbecue, and someone's like, "I got a burger. Here's 5 hamburgers."
Like,
I don't want 5 hamburgers. Who eats 5 hamburgers?
I know. I'm hungry, but I know there's a famine, but I can't eat that much.
1 lunch. I don't want 5 lunches. And then you got to look at everybody and like, sorry, I don't know. I got 5 of these things. But maybe that's what Joseph knows, because he got this like elaborate colored robe that he like kind of didn't ask for. So he's like, this is what he knows to do. It's like, here's like elaborateness.
There's some more things
you don't really want.
Yeah.
Genesis 44. Joseph gave these instructions to the steward of the house. So they ate, they hung out. Fill the men's sacks with as much food as they can carry, and put each man's silver in the mouth of his sack. Then put my cup, the silver one, in the mouth of the youngest one's sack, along with the silver for his grain. So the guy does what Joseph said. I like the specification of the silver one in that passage.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do the gold one.
Oh, definitely not the Stanley.
Not my Stanley.
Put my Stanley in there.
Maybe he went through a couple first. Well, not my mug. I do my coffee in my mug.
Yeah. And the backup one for when it's in the dishwasher, you know.
I got one of those.
No.
And then I have a travel one for that doesn't spill in the chariot.
But that one doesn't have the lid. Maybe I don't have the lid for that one.
Yeah, the silver one. The silver ones. Give him that one. As morning dawned, the men set out on their way with their donkeys. So they're reunited with their donkeys in verse 3.
Thank God.
Everybody is happy. They had not gone far from the city when Joseph says to his steward, "Go after those men at once. When you catch up with them, say to them, why have you repaid good with evil?" Sorry, quick pause. This is hitting me in real time. Steward of the house in verse 1. Joseph was this for Potiphar. This was his gig. And so this Joseph's is got to be like, what are we doing here? Like, I put it in their sack, and now I got to run them down. Okay. The steward's spouse is just getting an earful about the workplace environment when he gets home. That's all.
You said this is a work from home gig.
The jobs aren't really hard. I just don't know why I'm doing them. Go after these men at once, and when you catch up with them, say to them, "Why have you repaid good with evil? Isn't this the cup my master drinks from and also uses for divination? This is a wicked thing you have done." There's also like acting involved with this job, which I just didn't sign up for. I went to school for like management, property management. When he caught up with them, he repeated these words to them. They said to him, "Why does my Lord say such things? Far be it from me to your servants to do anything like that." So, quick summary. So he hides this cup in the sack, and he run away, and then he chases after him and says, "You took the cup." Just as they respond with like, "No, we didn't. And if you find the cup in anybody's sack, if you find they will have it." This is verse 9. "Then that person will die, and the rest of us will become my Lord's slaves." They're confident we did not steal this thing. So
We checked our sacks.
Very well then. Verse 10, "Let it be as you say, whoever's found to have it will become a slave like the rest of you, or will become my slave, and the rest of you will be set free from blame." This is also another interesting acting job from the steward who just hid this moments before and has to then, he finds it in Benjamin's sack, which is like
He's the baby.
He's the baby. He's the one that this whole story is going to focus on. So he finds it in there, but you wonder about the acting, like rifling through the others. "Oh, I don't see it here. I don't see it. Now I will do Benjamin's sack and see if it's in here." I just choked myself. Spit take. What? Can you even imagine? So he finds it in Benjamin's sack. So then they all obviously freak out because this was a whole issue. They couldn't come because the dad didn't want him to go. They just said that they would all die if they found it. They found it. So verse 13, at this, they tear their clothes. Then they all loaded their donkeys and returned to the city.
I like at this they tore their clothes. Like it's a move, and I know that it was a cultural, customary thing to do this. But like, are they just like, here we go again? This was a good shirt.
Yeah,
I don't want to do this. Or like, do they all just know to do it all at the same time? Is like one by one? Is there a ritual here? Like, how much of your clothes do you tear? I still gotta wear this thing. Do I just tear the sleeve off?
That's a good question. Because it's like a morning ritual, but you know, if you're caught off guard by somebody's news and you're like, "I didn't really wear the robe I want to tear. I'd love to change. I'd love to mourn with you. I would love to do that. I know that's kind of my responsibility as your friend."
I just got this yesterday. It fits perfect. It's the breathing. It's the wicking where it gets rid of the sweat.
Maybe you pull the Joseph there, and you're like, "I'm so sad. I'm gonna go to my room. I'm so sad
about
still
quick wardrobe.
Hulk Hogan.
I think it's accept. I would do that.
I bet you that move was pulled. I'm willing to bet right now that move was pulled at least once.
Someone back in the day in mourning went to got their morning shirt and then ripped it, or one that was already torn,
or maybe even like a parent
cut already in it where you can it's easier to rip.
Gosh, think about this. What if you're a parent and your kid keeps coming home with a ripped robe? Well, they told me some sad news at school. Okay,
that's how you know you have an emo kid.
You have got to stop ripping this robe. Like, this is like big level stuff.
Yeah.
You can't keep ripping it over every little thing. Well, he's picked last. My buddy was picked last for
it wasn't even you.
Kickball.
It wasn't even
you.
you.
I'm mourning with my buddy. He was sad. So I ripped my clothes in half again. You're literally growing out of this stuff. I keep having to buy you this stuff. Stop ripping your robes. That's really funny. So they rip their robes. They're all sad, and so they start to head back. Joseph was still in the house when Judah and his brothers came in, and they threw themselves to the ground before him. Joseph says, "What is this you've done? Don't you know that a man like me can find things out by divination?" Joseph lives for like the dramatic sequences here.
Right, because he sets up this whole premise
Yeah.
with like he didn't have to do that. All he had to do was say, "Yeah, you can't go." I'm kind of the rule, the number 2 ruler of all of this stuff. Right. You're staying here.
There are simpler ways.
He does this little mind
the dramatic,
trickery.
Dude. He loves the dramatic. So while I picture a steward who again is just kind of more like process oriented, is being dragged along. Oh, I found your cup. You guys all got to come back with me. You just show back up to have Joseph turn and throw a cape around his shoulder. How could you have done this? What is this you've done? Don't you know that a man like me can find out things by divination? What can we say to my lord? Judah replied. What can we say? How can we prove our innocence? God has uncovered your servant's guilt. We are now my lord's slaves, we ourselves and the one who was found to have the cup. Joseph said, far be it from me to do such a thing. Only the man who was found to have the cup will be my slave. The rest of you go back to your father in peace. So Judah goes up to him and says, pardon your servant, my lord. Let me speak a word to my lord. Don't be angry with your servant, though you are equal to Pharaoh himself. My lord asked his servants, do you have a father or brother? So we answered,
No, I didn't. No, you just said it.
I definitely didn't ask.
I didn't provoke you, and
I know this play worked with your old man. I actually do remember how I never asked you about this. You told me. Emphasis ours. That was when we were reading the Bible just then. So we answered that question you obviously asked us directly and we were forced to answer. We have an aged father, and there's a young son born to him in his old age, and his brother is dead, and he's the only one of his mother's sons left, and our father loves him. Then he said, your servants bring him down here. So he kind of recaps the whole story and tells him all this, and he kind of explains that our dad is just so committed, and I promised, and I can't possibly go back. So verse 30, now if the boy's not with us when I go back, and my father, whose life is closely bound up with the boy's life, sees that the boy isn't there, he will die. Remember that guy you asked earlier if he was still alive? He will not be alive anymore if I go back there like this. Your servants will bring the gray head of our father down to the grave in sorrow. That's a line he borrowed from Jacob himself. Your servant guaranteed the boy's safety to my father, and so I said, if I don't bring him back, I'll bear the blame before you. Now then, please let your servant remain here as my lord's slave in place of the boy, and let the boy return with his brothers. How can I go back to my father if the boy is not with me? No, do not let me see the misery that would come on my father.
Cliffhanger.
Yet
another
That's the
one.
end of Genesis 44. It's a good story.
Yeah.
It's a good story. Lots of twists and turns.
Yeah, I do think. Yeah, I do think there's I guess the lesson I learned.
This is what we like to talk about at the end. What did you learn today?
It's just how dramatic Joseph really is.
Yeah.
He's got a lot going on, and I get it. I guess I understand. He's got a lot of feeling. He was thrown in a well,
right?
But something tells me that had been going on for a while before that. There's a reason he got thrown in a well.
He did something to
for sure. I think I'm not saying he brought it on himself. Nobody deserves to be thrown in a well.
Nobody should. You shouldn't throw anybody in a well.
No, but also don't antagonize people to a point where they're going to throw you in a well. If that becomes an option, you don't want to give them a reason to do it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I also learned that I just can't help but giggle when we talk about sacks still. Amounts of sacks.
You would think at some point during the English translating we would have just changed it to bag, but
there's and they say a lot.
More accurate.
There's just a lot. It's a lot of.
It's in here a ton.
A lot of sack talk. Not my word. It's in the Bible, Anthony.
You're a sack freak. You know that. Man. Okay. I think my takeaway here is if it kind of makes it play out better for you, tweak the story a little and stick with it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. No, he asked us if we had another brother. That's why we said it, was because he asked us.
And we all agreed to that story.
Everyone was there. He asked us. Now, where it's going to fall apart this is what I learned today. When you try to tell the person that they asked you, you got to find another route. You got to have an audible for that moment. But it's not a bad play overall. Just kind of tweak the story to go
well, that's where we get.
I had to.
I think that's where we get gaslighting, and I think that's acceptable nowadays. Oh shoot, no.
As long as it's natural.
No, you can't do that.
As long as it's naturally occurring gas. I think is where we're. You don't want to burn fossil fuels.
I don't think that's how it works.
Hopefully everybody learned something today. Obviously you did, I did. That's Genesis chapters 43 and 44. We interpreted dreams together today. This was a really special time. Thanks for spending it with me.
No.
Boop.
No.
Thank you, viewer, listener, for being here with us today. Thanks for going over the Bible and learning together and growing together as friends.
It's about growth.
We're going to be back here and we're going to do it again real soon. So we will see you then. Tim, do you have any last words for the people?
Yeah, just mind your sacks, guys.
No, it's not. Okay. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.